And so in this dream, I became an old man. And I had a big fat belly, I had big white beard, and I loved it. I remember looking down in this dream because I didn't really realize where I was, and I would laugh, and like, hoo, 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 and it's like, this is great, And then I looked up, and around me, there was a table of about 25 or 30 leaders, all these young people. And I knew that they were leaders of national revivals. And they looked at me with their eyes, and there's like one guy who was a leader of the revival in India. There's another guy who was a leader of the revival in Egypt, and of Canada, of the US, of Japan, of China. I remember seeing all these people. And they're all about 25 years old, which I thought was amazing. And these are the guys who are leading the national revivals, which is awesome. And they looked at me and they said, Kayle, tell us how the revival started, for the world is on fire. And I love that phrase, for the world is on fire. And I knew at that point, I knew at that moment that we were in the global awakening that's been prophesied for years and years and years and years. I knew at that moment this was it. And in that moment, I started having all of these memories of places where I've been. I haven't been there yet, of places where I've been, of people that told me the stories of all these even revival artifacts that I've been given. And two of the cool ones is in my dream, I had these two little pamphlets, like these little books that were just full of pictures, and that's all. And I held up these books to them, and I said, they were doing these burns, they were doing these prayer things, and somebody had the presence of mind enough to just capture photos and not put any words so people could see the precursor to the global revival. And I was actually in Geneva a little while ago, and I was telling the story, and one of the leaders of the groups that I was with, he gasped and he got up and he ran away, and I thought, oh, I've offended another one, Pretty good at doing that. And but he came back in a few minutes later, and he had those two books that I saw in my dreams. And I have them in my possession right now. And he said, a photographer came and he said, I need to take photos of the burns that we're doing, of these prayer things that we're doing, and so that it's a precursor, so that people know the revival and what happened before the revival hit. Isn't that crazy? I have those. I dreamt that, and I have them in my possession now, which is awesome because it's making my faith skyrocket for what I'm about to tell you. All the people that are here yesterday, you know what's coming. Keep praying. Yeah. And so I looked at them, and I said, I was there. I said, I was there when I was a young man. And I said, it started with the burning ones. They locked themselves away in the burning rooms. And I said, the people would lock themselves away all over the nations, and sometimes there'd be groups of people, and they'd gather together for 2 hours on a Friday night. And I said, it wasn't much, but it was enough. I said, there's other people who they'd start a prayer that would go for weeks and weeks and weeks at a time. And I said it was a long time, and that was enough. And I made mention of IHOP. I said there's a place that they prayed 24/7 for years and years and years, and that was a lot, and it was enough. And I kept giving all these examples of sometimes there'd be one person who'd just drive around praying, and I said it was just one person, but that was enough. And that was the thing that I love saying, it was enough, it was enough, it was enough. Which to me, it kind of sounds like the remnant of a critical mass of you and God is a majority, which I actually do believe. And I kept saying this, and I said, nobody knew where it started, and nobody knew where it went, and just all of a sudden, all these different burning rooms, and all these different churches, and all these different movements from all over the world, all of a sudden it was enough, and all of this fire, it spilled out from burning room to burning room, and it touched burning one, and I said, in a matter of moments, all of a sudden the entire globe was on fire, and there was a global awakening that we were a part of. And I love to have a dream that is that intense, and it seems exaggerative, it seems too big. But I love that in the middle of that dream, that's why I love sharing the story about those little books. Because I have a physical representation of the confirmation of that dream. And last time I checked, my God is not a man that he should lie. This gives me something to buy into. This gives me something to say, this is truth, and I'm going to ask for more until it comes. I'm going to engage in this stuff.